So, why is it important for us to speak about people like Billy Carson? Truth just by itself matters. Intellectual virtues, intellectual honesty matters. So, why is it important for us to speak about people like Billy Carson? And generally, there's going to be some language that's going to be used in this video we're going to react to in regards to being a con man. Why should Christians be involved in this? Well, as a matter of fact, Christians should be involved first and foremost because of truth. Because Christians claim to be people of the truth. We claim to protect the truth. We claim that the God who created all things is the source of all truth. So truth just by itself matters. Intellectual virtues, intellectual honesty matters. There's also a component of ethics, like telling truths and not lies. But it kind of gets even more important for people like me who deal in the realm of Christian apologetics, is that when people start making claims about Christianity or making things up. So if you go, you'll see in my recent videos, doing reactions towards individuals that are making incorrect statements about the Bible, about Christianity, about Jesus, and trying to bring it together so that we have a defense for people, because that's what apologetics is all about, giving a defense. In this conversation with Wes Huff and Joe Rogan, they sort of get into that and speak about that. And I thought it's a good opportunity for us to reflect on it and think about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And which is what a con man is, a confidence man. If you are really good at expressing yourself and really like you show confidence in your convictions, you can persuade a lot of people.
Yeah, confidence is not competency.
Yes.
And unfortunately, those things get confused a lot.
Well, it covers up for competency sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In religion and politics and like all sorts of things, right?
In everything.
Yeah.
In everything. I mean, I think because people want to, it's very difficult to be an expert in a subject. And I think people want to believe that they are, and they don't want to do the work.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a false sense, I think, in modern society. There's a false sense of competency that comes our way. And we all can fall victim to this. Every single one of us can fall victim to this. In that, say, shows like this, I might have studied certain things and I wouldn't necessarily claim to be an expert on those things, but I have some competency in it and I share it, and then you get to hear it. And then now you sort of think you have the same level of competency on the matter. So when you're sharing it with your friends without having to research it and just quoting me or quoting anyone, even if that were an expert, and then when somebody asks you a couple of follow-up questions, then you're in trouble. And so, they go into this whole thing of like a con man is someone who's a confidence man. And we have a lot of those. One of the things that's kind of come to the surface in regards to social media, podcast, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is like we have a society of people or a generation of folks that tend to be very confident in front of camera. And so therefore they will make claims, they will say things. Recently I responded to an Instagram video where a gentleman, Brad Lee, was making a claim that, Jesus' actual name wasn't Jesus, and he thinks he's actually making a good point. The problem is that he's not, and he can't really back it up. I don't even know where he's heard something like that, right? And so people listen to him because he is an individual who has a lot of confidence and is successful. And so people think what he's saying is true, and it's not. And so the question maybe in modern society should be taken in regards to what happens when you go from a society that was relying on information to now we're full of information. There's a lot of information going around. Information's not the problem. Access to information is not the problem. It historically has been the problem. But today it's not the problem because we have search engines, we have AI that does searches for us, compiles things for us, X, Y, and Z. And what it really needs to come down to is how to process and sift through the information that you're presented with. This is where a whole conversation about misinformation, disinformation comes in. Do people have the proper researching methodologies and expertise in order for them to sift through and be able to find the truth, to be able to find the actual evidence, what are the claims people are making and how to respond to those things. It's a very dangerous world we live in, because you can pull up a video of someone like Billy Carson who makes these claims, or anyone else, fill in the blank. Recently I responded to a video with a gentleman that's very much like a Billy Carson. His name is Aaron, and Aaron makes claims like that as well. If people know what they're talking about and know how you can research it, because he's very confident in what he's saying, then you can actually sift through that stuff. You guys, I don't think we live in a society where access to information is kind of in the hands of the experts, because everything essentially is digitized and is online and we can access it. But we need to develop a society, we need to develop churches, we need to develop individuals who have the abilities to sift through things. We need to develop individuals who are critical thinkers. You gotta catch on to when people are being sly with their words, or they say something and they mean something else. Proper thinking matters, and it's gonna matter even more in modern generations. You have to see some of the comments that I see and some of my friends who make videos on this stuff see. We laugh about it, but it's sad because there are individuals on the other ends of those comments. And so you kind of go, oh man, like, I can't believe you've been bamboozled into this. You actually believe this individual is teaching the correct things. We can't be bamboozled by con man, but also we can't, without intending to, become con men ourselves by listening to a bunch of podcasts and information and now thinking that we are an expert on a subject. You have to know how to do your own research. You have to know how to sift through this information yourself so that you can articulate it to someone sitting across from you without them asking you two questions and then you kind of fall apart. That's the danger. So we used to call this the kind of the philosophy 101 syndrome, right? It's the student who takes a philosophy 101 class or any introductory class and now thinks that they're an expert on the matter, right? It's the student, it's you when you took philosophy 101, if you did, and you went to your friends and you were like, dude, like, how do you know your hand is really there? How do you know that you're not, a brain in a vat, like kind of conversation? Because that's like the introductory stuff you just got introduced to. You haven't done the thinking into a deeper area and arena so that you'll be able to articulate yourself well and properly and with proper nuance, and leave the things that you don't know, or maybe we just don't know where they are. And then the stuff that we do know, actually kind of double down on them and say, these are the things that we know and we can put our pretty good confidence in.